over the situation. He told them that the National Security Advisor Shiv Shankar Menon would brief them today on the developments on the line of control, where tension prevails ever since Indian soldier Lance Naik Hemraj was beheaded in an attack by Pakistani soldiers on 8th of January.
अगर ये सिर नहीं आए तो उनके तो 10 सिर आए। सही बात। सवाल ये है कि हम बिल्कुल प्रतिक्रिया के अलावा बैठे रहें और खेल खिलाते रहें और वार्ता करते रहें, ये तो नहीं होगा। कम से कम एक ताकतवर सरकार की प्रतिक्रिया तो हम दें। तो वही हमने उनसे बोला कि इसीलिए हम ये चाहेंगे कि सरकार एक टफ मेजर ले, सरकार टफ एक्ट करे और आपके पति की जो उपेक्षा उन्होंने अंत्येष्टि के समय की है उसकी माफी मांगे। ये दोनों काम हो, आप खाना पीना शुरू करें।
Well, on a day when the army chief sounded a tough note against Pakistan, Pakistan stonewalled India's attempts to admit that it escalated the tensions along the line of control. More shockingly, the army chief disclosed that the Pakistani soldiers violated the Geneva Convention twice before as well, beheading Indian soldiers in the year 2000 and 2011 as well.
And when I said we reserve the right to retaliate at a time and place of choosing, this is again at the tactical level.
A tough warning ahead of a crucial flag meeting. But hell-bent on provocation, Pakistan in no mood to listen. At the brigade commander level flag meet, India lodging a strong protest, with Pakistan aggressively denying the charges.
देखिए, सरकार जो फ्लैग मीटिंग है ब्रिगेडियर लेवल की, उस पे नजर बनाए हुए हैं। हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि पाकिस्तान अपनी गलतियों का एहसास करेगा और अपनी हरकतों से बाज आ जाएगा।
But the Pakistani army lies exposed by its actions. On Sunday, it had once again violated the ceasefire, targeting Indian posts in the Poonch sector. At his briefing, the army chief making another explosive revelation, stating that Pakistani troops have beheaded Indian soldiers twice before, one soldier in 2000 and two more in 2011.
With regard to getting the heads back, it has been taken up at the government level, and you'll appreciate that this has to be done through the diplomatic channels, message being conveyed. It's also been conveyed to the DGMO. It's also been conveyed today in this regard in no uncertain terms. And let's see if the Pakistan army heeds to this protest and they comply with it.
It's a game that Pakistan has played many times now. Over the years, sneaking in bands of intruders by providing covering fire during peak winter under the thick fog cover.
But the Indian Army chief also showed his limitations by describing it as a purely local incident between local formations which is to be dealt with at the local level. Did Pakistan intend only local impact? Clearly not. At this stage, it seems that India, which is actually the victim, seems keener not to escalate than Pakistan. With video journalist Nishant Chandra, Vishal Thapar, News X, New Delhi.
But Pakistan's proxy war is having its effect on the ground and on grassroots democracy as well. More terrorized panchayats officials in Kashmir have announced their resignations before the media.
Violating the ceasefire, terrorizing Sarpanch, Pakistan is at war. Scared by the spate of murderous attacks, Panchayati Raj officials resigning en masse North Kashmir's Sopore.
हम इसलिए इस्तीफा दे रहे हैं कि एक तो हमें कल 2-3 मारे गए हैं, एक तो सरपंच मारा गया और उसके बाद एक महिला को भी मारा गया कि हम कोई सिक्योरिटी फराहम नहीं कर सकते हैं, किसी पंच को भी किसी सरपंच को भी नहीं हम सिक्योरिटी फराहम नहीं कर सकते हैं। तो उसका मतलब ये निकला है कि वो ज्यादातर कह रहे हैं कि आप घरों में ही ठहरें।
25 more punts quit on Monday, following in the footsteps of around 22 punts on Sunday.
डिजाइन हम लोगों ने इसलिए दिया कि न हमारी जिंदगी के कोई महफूज जगह है, न हमें घर में रहना पसंद करते घर वाले, क्योंकि इसके पीछे हुकूमत का बहुत बड़ा हाथ है। हुकूमत बिल्कुल फेल हो चुकी है इस बारे में।
The panic gripped the valley after separate attacks on Friday and Saturday. Terrorists killed a sarpanch and injured a woman sarpanch. But despite the provocations, India is keeping up its end of the peace bargain, continuing the bus service.
Fact remains that the normal public, the civilians, the commoners, they are yearning for the peace. And as you could see, one of those passengers who had come from Rawalakot in Pakistan along with the family to meet his relatives here in Rajouri, they are yearning for peace. They are asking both the countries to ensure that peace remains here, so that people like him who are living across both the sides of line of control, they do get chances to meet their relatives, to come across, to take the dividends of that peace, which essentially would come through people-to-people contact and opportunities for such people to be able to meet their relatives on either side of the line of control. Suhail Bukhari, Srinagar, NewsX.
Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has finally broken his silence on the safety of Panch and Sarpanches in the Kashmir Valley. But after mass resignation by representatives of village panchayats owing to fear psychosis created by Pakistan-backed militants, what the State Chief Minister has said sounds more like mere lip service.
मीडिया ने इस सिलसिले को उछालने की कोशिश की, लेकिन हमारे पंच सरपंच जो हैं अभी भी वहीं पे खड़े हैं उस उम्मीद के साथ कि जिस मकसद के लिए उन्होंने इलेक्शन लड़ा था, जिन उम्मीदों के बुनियाद पर लोगों ने उन्हें वोट देके कामयाब किया, वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वो पूरा कर पाएंगे.
And in other news, BJP chief Nitin Gadkari is all set to get his second term as the party president, with the BJP leadership and RSS brass settling on his name after a long futile search to find a successor. Even senior BJP leader and one of Gadkari's bitter detractors, Yashwant Sinha, indicated growing chances of a second term as BJP president for Gadkari.
I am neither in a position to get him a second term, neither am I in a position to not allow him to get a second term.
Well, it is noteworthy that Yashwant Sinha, along with some other BJP leaders like Ram Jethmalani, had campaigned against a fresh term for Gadkari in light of disclosures of financial irregularities about Gadkari's Purti group. However, lack of consensus within BJP on who should succeed him seems to have tilted the scales in the favour of Gadkari in the final lap. The party is now expected to complete the formalities and make an announcement to this effect by end of Jan. In his second term as the party chief, Gadkari would be in charge of the party when the next Lok Sabha polls will be held. And coming on to some sports news, and Team India are once again up against England in the second ODI in Kochi today. Well, the high-scoring game in Rajkot was close, but ultimately it is India who are 1-0 down. Well, the Indian bowlers cannot afford another poor display, and the batting has to graduate from the pretty 40s and 50s to match the winning hundreds.
After the disappointment of Rajkot, where England took a 1-0 series lead, attention now turns to Kochi. India heads into the second ODI with their backs against the wall. For India to start winning again, at least a couple of the top order batsmen like Gambhir, Rahane, Yuvraj and Raina will have to start scoring big, consistently. Pretty 40s and 50s, however, will not be enough. Team India needs centuries.
Fantastically well.
It remains to be seen if Captain Dhoni will call up Cheteshwar Pujara in this ODI. At number 3, Kohli has a big role to play. And he has to get out of his mini slump, which stretches back to the Pakistan series. The loss at Rajkot with Dhoni's first against England in 12 home games. The two teams have only played one match at Kochi's Jawaharlal Nehru International Stadium, a match which India won. Kochi is once again going to suit the batsmen with the batting beauty expected. So it will be crucial for India's bowlers to apply themselves much better, particularly in the slog overs. In the first ODI, India's bowling frailties were exposed as they conceded 38 runs in the last 2 overs, which ultimately proved to be decisive. Among the spinners, R. Ashwin was completely outbowled by his English counterpart, James Treadwell. who grabbed the Man of the Match award in Rajkot for his 4 wickets. The series is only 1 match old, but already India has to get back to his winning ways. Going 2-0 down will almost certainly mean India's hopes of a series win will have all but gone. Sports Bureau, NewsX.
And the BCCI's all-powerful working committee will meet today in the backdrop of the Indian team's recent poor performance against England and Pakistan. Now, the Team India's poor run of form and the future of team coach Duncan Fletcher are likely to dominate the discussions. Also expected to feature in the meeting is the name of Indian captain MS Dhoni, which is under heavy criticism after an embarrassing home test defeat to England and also 2-1 ODI defeat to Pakistan. Now, reports suggest that Fletcher's contract will not be renewed after it expires in May and that the BCCI has already begun the search for options to replace the former England coach. Under Fletcher's tutelage, India lost 8 consecutive tests and the recent test against England at home 2-1. Now, Dhoni's role as a captain and batsman during these defeats are also expected to feature in the BCCI working committee meeting today. The meeting is also likely to focus on reaching a consensus whether to bring former Indian captain Mohammad Azharuddin back under the parent body's fold after the Andhra Pradesh High Court lifted the life ban imposed by the BCCI on him. Well, time to wrap up this edition of news, but before we go, we need to talk about Imran Hashmi, who is back on the big screen and fighting it out with supernatural powers yet again. Well, this time the film is called Ek Thi Dian and it also stars Huma Qureshi and Konkana Sen in the lead. So here's leaving you with the first look of the film.
डायन का असली रूप खूबसूरत और डरावना होता है। परियों जैसे चेहरे पर घने बादलों जैसे बाल, पांव उल्टे और हाथ शरीर से भी लंबे। प्राचीन विद्वानों का कहना था कि डायन की सारी शक्ति उसकी चोटी में ही बंद रहती है।
This week on India Inc., we have a person who made fortune from recycling products, founder of Green Dust, Mr. Hitendra Chaturvedi.
If you're looking for high rewards, the risk should be also higher. If you have a fallback option, trust me, you will fall back on that option one day.
We also have Arun Chandramohan and Praveen Sinha, founders of Jabong.com.
It was very clear during my business school that entrepreneurship is something that I wanted to do.
Start now. It's like swimming. Unless you jump, you will never learn how to swim.
Watch India Inc. next on NewsX.
News can emerge from anywhere, from your own street and around the world, from corridors of power to the world of glamour, from boundaries that divide to boundaries that unite, from deep under the sea to the heights of the sky, from unsettling unrest to smiles that bring life alive. News, wherever it emerges from, it's there on NewsX. Every day, India rises to face new challenges. Every day, it has a story to tell the world, a question to debate, a reason to celebrate, a sorrow to share. Every evening, we bring to you the day's top stories that decide our nation's fate.